Chip here with Fat Baggers, here to talk to you about the new 2024 road glides and 2023 CVOs. So we're doing a set of 14-inch bars installed on this bike, and the brake line is just going to be a little bit on the short side. So we've developed this brake line extension which has a connection point at the bottom. We integrate a one-way valve into here so we can do the bleeding at this connection point. This is going to save you a lot of time on the install. No need to hook it to a digital computer to do a bleeding of the ABS. So right here we'll get started and show you the step-by-step process. We're going to remove the stock brake line here from the reservoir. I've already got it loosened up. Okay. With the brake line removed from the master cylinder, you'll come down to the handlebar riser, and there's going to be a bolt here and a clamp. We're going to go ahead and remove that bolt and clamp. All right. Now I'm going to grab some zip ties here, guys. What we're looking to do with this brake line is we're going to come around behind the riser. We're going to route right between the ignition switch and the riser right here. So as you'll see the line down here, before we do any cinching down, we're going to go full right. That's the longest steering point. At that point, we're going to connect a zip tie right here around the brake line. So we're going to go ahead and turn it, make sure we're not pulling on it. Good. Okay, so down here on the left side of the ignition switch, we're also going to run another zip tie through, tying that brake line to the ignition switch here. All right. After that, we're ready to go ahead and install the brake line. We're going to reuse the stock banjo bolt and crush washers, which are a copper crush washer. We're going to go ahead and place the new line onto the master cylinder. We're just going to loosely tighten this in so we can still adjust it. From there, I'm going to take this brake line down the front side of the bar and through the risers. And we're going to take a zip tie, come down at the bottom connection of your bar, and we're going to just do a zip tie down here to go ahead and hold that line into place. So with our brake line extension coming between the risers, all of our fittings you'll notice are still loose and they'll pivot. We're going to unscrew our banjo bolt and washers. We're going to take that stock line and we're going to come underneath the clutch cable, and this is where these are going to connect together. So we'll go ahead and put the bolt in, washers, and the key is to make sure you keep this loose so it can pivot. And I need my Allen wrench here. Okay, we are started and going together. All right, so our connection is now down here in the middle of the triple tree. We're going to come in with another zip tie at this point on the back side of the ignition switch where we tied the other brake line. We're going to go ahead and add another zip tie there. That will secure that line connection about dead center of the steering stem. Now we're going to do some adjustments and tightening of this. So we're going to take a 3/8 end wrench and a 3/16 Allen. We're going to come over the top of the connection and tighten this bolt down. Give that a good snug. right there. Now with the banjo tight, we are going to use the same 3/8 wrench on the fitting and come down here and put a 7/16 on the bottom of the line. And we're gonna go ahead and tighten that fitting up. All right, so now we're connected. As you'll see here, turning full left, full right, there's no tension on the line. The line is free to move. Now we're ready to start the bleeding process. For the bleeding process, you will need a 1/4" wrench, a 3/8 wrench, and a tube going to a catch can to go onto our bleeder. This bleeder down here is a one-way valve. It's different than what people have used in the past. So we're gonna just loosen this bleed valve up a couple turns, and you're gonna leave that bleed valve open. It's important to have the bike on its side stand when doing the bleeding process. This way that the master cylinder is facing down towards the line connection. Now we've got the cap off. I'm gonna go ahead and start pumping the brakes here. I'm gonna pump it between 10 and 12 times. All right, now we're gonna go ahead and tighten the bleed valve down, which is a one-way speed bleeder. Now we'll go ahead, pump the lever, see what we have. And I've got a leaky line here that we're gonna go ahead and retighten. We're gonna go ahead and just loosen this connection up, retighten. I'm gonna go ahead and continue to pump the line or the lever here. There's going to be some air bubbles coming out the top side here. You just do little short strokes, you'll see the air releasing out. At this point, we have a firm lever. It's up to you if you'd like to go ahead and bleed one more time, just to make sure you got all the air out, but this feels rock solid. But I'll go ahead and show you the process if you'd like to go ahead and just do one more bleed to open. We'll just open the valve. We'll go ahead and do a couple more pumps. And we're going to tighten this down. We are ready to add a little more fluid to this. It's a .4 on this model bike. And then we would recommend always to do a squeeze and hold, just to make sure that none of your fittings are leaking. So we'll wrap our fingers around, check for any kind of leaks. Same down here. We're gonna pull the hose off. We're gonna stick our hand underneath here, look for any kind of leaks underneath there. Make sure everything's dry. Everything's dry. So that is all you have to do to install the brake line extension and do the bleeding process. Typically, this is about a 15-minute process from start to finish. Save you a lot of time and get you back on the road, right?